Good stuff to talk about tonight. Here we go. All right. Holy cow, what a heck of a day. Good evening, my fellow Michiganders. Good evening, my fellow Americans. And so we have a lot to cover tonight. I have some new stuff that I want to go over with everybody. But my mouth has literally been around an open fire hydrant today because I think starting tomorrow, if tomorrow is October 1st, I don't even know what date it is, but October 1st, Facebook is going to start with their new guidelines. And I'm going to let you all know right now, if you're posting anything on your profile, your public page, your groups, if you all are doing any of that, you have to go through right now tonight and make sure that you're deleting anything controversial, because they are literally going to bring down the hammer on everybody and anybody that is not supporting this narrative that's going on today. And I'm going to talk to you just what happened to me today. So I literally, folks, have spent the last 7 to 8 hours deleting thousands of posts from not only Stand Up Michigan, my public figure page, Garrett L. Soldano, and also my personal page, trying to clean up to get ready for this thing, because they are going to be very, very strict. And so I urge all of you tonight, if you have anything about this, anything about this virus, delete it, because you will get shut down. And know from somebody who has experienced that in a blink of an eye, especially if you have a group or a page, everything, all of your hard work will be gone forever. And so make sure that you're cleaning up your profile page and make sure that you're following their new guidelines, because they are going to bring down the hammer. So let me tell you, they clipped me on this just today and on our Stand Up Michigan page. And it was literally from the CDC's own guidelines with the survival rate if infected. Okay. And we all know what those numbers are. You know, anywhere from the ages of 0 to 19, there's a 99.997% of you dying if infected, not dying, of surviving if infected. No, the 99.997% chance of dying, that would be pretty bad. Humanity be wiped out. But the survival rate, if infected, these are the age groups, 20 to 49, 99.98% chance of surviving, 50 to 69, 99.5% chance of surviving. And of course, the over 70, especially with the elderly, with any 2 or 3 underlying medical conditions, 94.6% chance of surviving. And they clipped that. And this is what they said. I'm laughing because I believe it, but I don't believe it. They clipped me and they said, in spite of its relatively small infection fatality ratio, this virus has led to many deaths due to high virus transmission, which is true. And they said this virus mortality rates are very low. Therefore, this virus is not an important public health concern. If you are 70 plus years of age, you have a 0.054% chance of dying from COVID. The verdict, it's misleading. Okay. That's what they said, that I was implying that I was saying, hey, this virus is not a big deal. It's not really a public health concern. When have you ever heard me say any of that? Okay, those are not my words. That's Facebook words. They're saying, this is what you were implying. No, you don't know what I was implying. I was just giving up-to-date, accurate, truthful information from the CDC, by the way, from their own data, by the way, and they clipped me and said I was misleading. And so I was like, oh my gosh, if they are doing that, I can only imagine what's going to happen October 1st when they bring down the hammer, like our unilateral governor with her tyrannical hammer. So this is my warning to all of you. I literally deleted thousands of posts today, thousands, not tens, not hundreds, literally thousands. And it took me almost 8 hours. And that's why I was running a little bit behind. I just got out of the shower because I was on here 10 till trying to do that and keep caught up. So that's your warning for all of you. Make sure that you're cleaning up your profile page. Just do it or you're going to get banned. And obviously there's other platforms out there. That's why we're on them. So if for some reason we get disconnected from you, we're on our YouTube channel. Obviously we're at standupmichigan.com. Our locals is there. We're on Parler. We're on Instagram. We have an email list of tens of thousands of all of you. So if for some reason we get clipped, you will know and we will find you. And we're always going to be accessible. So make sure that you're liking those other platforms. It's Stand Up Michigan on YouTube, on Instagram, on Parler. Find us there. So if we ever do get taken down, because there's a strong possibility, because all I left up there were basically lives and photos of the unlock petition. So who knows what their criteria is going to be. But when I got that today, I was like, I'm being misleading to my movement because I'm giving you the CDC data verbatim. Okay. Whatever, we'll play the game. Okay. So that's what I think about that. Get off there. All right. So let's get on to the stuff I wanted to talk about today. Dave Bondi, our universal reporter that always just gives us accurate, up-to-date information. Thank you, Dave, for this information. I had to look it up. But he sent me that a field hospital in Novi is temporarily closing due to the decreasing of this virus hospitalizations, which is, it's not rocket science. Like, we knew that there are not a lot of people right now being hospitalized, of this virus. So yeah, they're shutting it down, right? But here's the kicker. For the time being, the state will be closing the field hospital at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. It was used a little bit during the first couple months when a lot of people are still getting hospitalized, but not a lot. So state of Michigan just renewed the contract, though. They just renewed it. And they're extending it through the end of the year for the potential of the second wave. Okay? So they're still pushing this narrative. Now, granted, if the second wave does come, it's probably not. But if it does, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm thinking this virus is working itself through just like any other virus. But hey, if the second wave comes, and I don't even really believe it's a second wave, I think it's just the first wave that just hasn't gotten to society. That's my own humble opinion. However, if it comes, and granted, this was not open in full capacity when this is supposed to have teeth back in March and April, right? So we prepared this field hospital for overflow, and we never saw the overflow because we even had regular hospitals that were closing down and laying people off. So still pushing this fear narrative of second wave. It's upon us, right? But here's the kicker. The rent before they extended this new lease was $1.2 million a month. Now they renegotiated, it sounds like, and throughout this year, the rent's going to be $975,000, almost $1 million for the next 3 months. The state is just going to waste because they're preparing for the second wave. Now I'm going to be the devil's advocate, and let's say that this thing had teeth like it did before, and all of our hospitals were overwhelmed, and we had all these temporary places and tents and hospital ships coming into Lake Michigan and Lake Erie to help with the overflow, right? Then if this virus really had the teeth that it had before, I can understand this decision-making process. I'd be like, yeah, we have to be prepared because, like they said from the beginning, there was going to be millions and millions of Americans that were going to die. I heard 10%, which is 30 million Americans possibly that could die from this virus. I could say, yeah, you maybe should prepare. But we're preparing for what? Now, again, doesn't make sense. And that's where our tax-paying money is going, or maybe the federal money, which is still taxpayers, that is going to pay for this and flip the bill for $1 million throughout the year for this building that's just going to sit vacant. I mean, I bet there's thousands of businesses that have closed down that could probably use that money. So instead of wasting it on lease, why don't you divvy it up to all the businesses that you shut down to push your fear narrative, Governor? That would be nice, right? All right. The next order of business that I want to talk about, and this hit home to me because back in July 9th of 2020, just a couple months ago, it said that Whitmer required implicit bias training for healthcare providers in Michigan. Additional training in racial issues will be required to renew professional licenses. And when she did that, I was offended. Like many other healthcare professionals were offended by that because she basically said that we are racist, that we need special training because we don't know how to deal with minorities when they come into our clinics or our hospitals. And I know every doctor and healthcare professional out there, whether you support her or not, I know that offended you because that basically told us that we're all racist and we don't give good quality treatment to minorities, which is absolute garbage. Okay. We have continued ed credits called Ethics and Boundaries that's required. I know in the chiropractic profession, we have to get 2 hours of that every 2 years. And that's where we talk about those types of things, which, folks, it's non-existent, okay, in my experience. And I'm sure there's one or two out there, just like in any other profession, that are some bad apples. Don't get me wrong. But the majority of every single profession are really great quality Americans, quality people, okay? So I've been waiting for this data to come out and literally chomping at the bit for it to come out, and it did. So I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to shoot down that gosh darn narrative that she did in July 9th. And I told every single one of you, I wasn't going to let any of this stuff go. I will never let any of this stuff go, because that's one thing I've learned about politics, which is, number one, it's a horrible, nasty, evil game, which I want no part to do with. But I'm not going to allow these politicians to get on there and just spew crap out, not back it up, tell lies, and just forget about it like most of the mainstream media does. They spew out a bunch of crap. The mainstream media buys it, doesn't fact check it, right? And then it just gets swept underneath the rug. I refused to let any of this stuff go. And I will continue to revisit this entire narrative until that repeal 1945 law is done. And then I'm going to see where my job goes from there. But I'm not going to let this stuff go, because it's wrong. And when you're hurting tens of thousands of businesses that have shut down because of your decision-making based on facts and data and science, which you never cite, or you say the experts, which you never cite what experts and where they got their data on. So I'm going to continue to shoot down that narrative, give you up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information, be transparent, always do rule number one, which is always do what's right, and always tell the truth, according to the data that I have in front of me right now. So I'm going to shoot down this narrative, which basically she told all of us healthcare professionals that we are racist and we need bias training from here on out. Implicit bias training was the exact words. And so here's an article that came out September 25th, 2020. And I'm going to butcher this this research at the Montefiore. Sorry if I got that wrong. But study finds no racial disparity in COVID-19 case fatality rates at Montefiore when controlling for key risk factors. And I'm going to talk about those key risk factors in a second. But I just want to read this article to you so you guys can all see what's truly going on out there. So at the JAMA Network Open found that among 5,902 ethnically diverse COVID-19 positive patients admitted to the medical center, the outcomes for Black and Hispanic patients relative to their white counterparts were the same or better. Let me read that again. Of all the positive cases of Black and Hispanic patients relative to their white counterparts, their outcomes were better or the same. Okay? Which means they were getting good quality health care. All right. It's not like they were just, they weren't good people and they were giving health care to one group of people because of color. Okay. The study's refuting this, which still makes me very angry. The study shows that Black and Hispanic patients who were hospitalized with this virus presented with more pre-existing conditions, which is true, lifestyle. I'll get to that in a second. Also known as comorbidities, as well as other risk factors. However, researchers found that Black and Hispanic patients had survival rates at least as good as their non-Hispanic white counterparts when controlling for age, sex, socioeconomic status, and comorbidities. Similar data trends have been shown in patients hospitalized in other major health systems in Louisiana and the Midwest. It is well documented that communities of color have shouldered the heaviest burden of COVID-19 in the United States, and there have been many explanations offered for why that is the case. We discovered somewhat surprisingly that Black and Hispanic patients, when hospitalized, had similar or slightly better survival outcomes compared to white patients. According to the study's authors, these results are important because they suggest that access to the services available in comprehensive healthcare environments may attenuate, if not eliminate, racial ethnic differentials in COVID-19 mortality rates. The study results suggest that across racial and ethnic groups, higher mortality rates were primarily driven by older age and the presence of multiple comorbidities, including chronic disease such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease that are prevalent in Black and Hispanic communities. So it wasn't that they were getting not proper treatment, Governor. It was because of their lifestyles are a little bit different. And we know that this virus had teeth with people who are obese and diabetic and cardiovascular problems, which unfortunately is a little bit more prevalent in those communities. It wasn't because the healthcare professionals weren't taking care of their patients. That I've been waiting for, because in every profession you have one or two bad apples, but the majority of people in every single profession, including police, are great, wonderful people. And I strongly believe in my heart and soul that we're not getting more racist. I think it's getting better from when I reflect back to when I grew up until now. I'm not a Black American. I've never been stereotyped, but I have been stereotyped in athletics. When I was growing up, I was told that I was the wrong color, not fast enough, and not tall enough to play Division I football. And when I played Division I football and I wanted to go to the NFL, I was told the same thing, that I was the wrong color, too slow, and too short. So I know what it feels like to have stereotypes against us, right? But I have not lived my whole life like Black Americans, like my friends that I know, and I know there are stereotypes that are given at them. That is unfortunate, but I truly believe that it is getting better. And when we have people pushing false narratives on this garbage, it's unacceptable. It truly is unacceptable. And that's like how I've been saying throughout this entire conversation, that we need to have difficult conversations with all groups of people, not just one, so America can heal. Not one group, folks, has all the answers. And I don't care what side you're on. We need to start bringing people back together, bringing back people closer to the middle to have difficult conversations to start the healing process of this country. My own humble opinion, okay? And the talk about also with that narrative of her keeping that overflow hospital, we're going to call it, open. All right, so let's give us up-to-date, accurate, truthful information of this potential second wave that we keep hearing about. We'll see if it happens. If it does, the medical professionals, I feel, are ready. They have all the therapies ready to combat this. That's why when people are getting infected, according to the CDC, the data doesn't lie, people are living, okay? And so just to give you the up-to-date, accurate information on that from worldometer.com, the USA total recovered, 4.6 million. Active cases, still around 2.5 million. Out of those 2.5 million people, out of the entire country of the United States, God bless America, 14,065 are considered serious and critical. So out of 330 million of us, there's 14,065 people that are considered serious and critical. And by the CDC data, most of those people are probably going to survive. And if they're over the age of 70, according to the CDC, a 94.6% chance of surviving. Any other age group, over a 99% chance of surviving with infected. So out of those 14,065 serious critical, you guys looks like you're doing good, okay? And so just to keep on going with the deaths per 1 million, I updated it. Still, Michigan is sitting at number 9 at 706 deaths per 1 million with COVID. Illinois is right behind them at 10, 699, and Florida is still number 11 at 654 deaths per 1 million. And the reason I bring this up is because the governor trashed Florida, trashed Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not even on my list of top 14 deaths per 1 million. And she said, Florida was doing it wrong. And I wanted to point out to everybody that Florida is now fully open. There's no mandates of this, right? There's no mandates of that. Everything's fully open. There's no penalties for this anymore. So they're open and they're still doing better than us, which we're still pretty much locked down and mandating this. And I read a post earlier, I said on my live earlier that, I wear this because I'm protecting others. Fine, protect me. But I'm going to do my own due diligence. I'm going to protect myself by working out, eating well, exercising, positive mental attitude, not being in fear. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to inspire others. So I'm not going to live in fear. And I'm not going to show other people that I live in fear. I'm going to set the example. And if you want to wear that, so be it. I don't care. But it should never, ever be mandated. It should not be mandated in children's athletics and everything else. I mean, we've had this narrative time and time again. Sorry if I'm going off on a tangent. So I'm still upset about this. Okay. So just to shoot down that narrative, that's what always I'm going to do is I'm going to revisit these things and I'm going to continue to go back and hear what she said and then continue to shoot it down so you guys can all understand what the heck's going on. So let's talk about what's going on with the AG, which I know Tammy's got on it and talked about it. I talked on it earlier on the day. Ron had interviews today. I had interviews today, but we're getting censored. So I got to kind of continue with the same narrative. We know the AG and we know the governor's weaponizing all of our people to come after our petition, that all of you, the over 500,000 of you that signed this, have worked their butts off over the past 80 days to get it done. They are trying to kick and scream and prevent it, to hold it out as long as they possibly can. So if they get the votes, they can get the Democrats in there to vote this repeal 1945 law down. And we said right from the beginning, I don't care if Republican or Democrat, that law needs to go. No governor should ever have this much power. Michigan is a prime example of why you cannot have a governor act like a dictator, because look what she has done to our great state. It's going to take years for us to get over this unilateral decision-making of what it's done to our economy, what it's done to our lifestyle, what it's done to the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Michiganders out there who are now going into what I call the new pandemic, the new health crisis. It's called the mental health crisis from all this that has gone on. And I truly believe that is right on the horizon. Is going to start here pretty quick. And we're never going to understand the true ramifications of this governor until many years down the road, when all more data comes out. And I know we'll probably be dealing with this garbage for many years, unfortunately. But we will continue to give you a platform of hope, to be that beacon of light, to always be that lantern, the lantern in the darkness of today's challenges, to continue to give you hope and show you the direction that you need to go. Stand Up Michigan's not going anywhere, folks. Don't worry about it. After the repeal is done, we're going to continue to fight for our constitutional rights, our freedoms, our sacred values, our citizens' rights, and make sure that none of us ever fall asleep on the watch again, to make sure what we don't do, the definition of insanity, which is the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, kind of like our governor with her unilateral decision-making, with extending her state of emergency over and over and over and expecting a different result. Insanity, and we're all living through it. But they are coming after it because of some Yahoo out in California that they supposedly had tape on it. So let's really analyze this. So one of these paid circulators that was not involved with Stand Up Michigan, it was with Unlock Michigan, right? And with any petition process, there's paid circulators. That's it. We're just a little special because there are millions of us that are pretty fired up and mad that what happened to us. And so we had over 65,000 volunteers stand up and get this thing done in record time, the fastest ever in the state of Michigan. And I'm calling it right now the fastest ever in the country, right? So there's one guy that they mysteriously caught on tape that he resides out in California, I think it was. So what are the odds of somebody from Keep Michigan Safe campaign? I think that's what they're called. They call themselves a grassroots. They're always throwing out emails to collect money for Governor Whitmer. So they were out there simultaneously a couple months ago as this guy was using unscrupulous measures to train people. Okay, maybe not. I haven't seen the video. I don't know that person. I also don't know the 65,000 grassroots volunteers from We the People. Not all of them personally. I know a lot of them. But I do know this, that we have went well over what is required. And so many of you out there were getting upset at us as why we were dragging our feet when we got the already required 341,000 or in around that number to get this petition going. But we wanted to come well over because we knew as a movement what they were going to do. They were going to do this. And so what we wanted to do is make sure that we were always staying ahead of the game. This is a game of chess. This ain't checkers. This is chess. And so we wanted to come well over 500,000, which we did. And you know what else we did is we documented everything from our Facebook groups, from all the lovely pictures that you guys all were posting on your phones, on our page, on our group. And I don't know how much clearer and what other unscrupulous measures we were using, right? Because all of our banners had what? Unlock Michigan. All of our banners said what? And Governor Whitmer's endless shutdown, right? The repeal of 1945 was written in one sentence on where they signed. I don't know what else we could have done to be more clear. But I do know that we have all this evidence. We have over 65,000 volunteers that circulated. I know that we were around a 90 to 92% good signature rating, according to Unlock. And I know this Friday, and this is what I'm getting at, this Friday at 10 a.m. in downtown Lansing at the Michigan State Bureau of Elections building at 10 a.m., we're going to turn them in. And they are all going to be in Tupperwares. So if you, the people, we, the people, want to be a part of this, to come down and take pictures, because I'm pretty excited to go down there and see what 500,000 petitions look like. That's a lot of petitions. That is 5 U of M stadiums. That's almost 5 Michigan State stadiums. Holy cow, it's a lot. So Ron and I are going to be down there with our Stand Up Michigan video crew, and we're going to go around with a microphone interviewing everybody. It's going to be a great day starting at 10 a.m. as they deliver these 500,000 signatures. And I want you all to come experience this. If you can get off work and you're available, make the pilgrimage down to Lansing. Everybody knows where Lansing is, pretty much smack dab in the middle of the center of the state, right? A little south. But come down and experience it. And if you haven't met us, if you haven't talked to me and Ron, come up and talk, because I want to meet all of you. You all are my heroes. And I know Ron and Tammy and everybody else at Stand Up Michigan, and all of our volunteers all feel the same way. It's about you, the people. And we want to meet every single one of you. So come down and celebrate with us, okay? It's this Friday, 10 a.m., downtown, Michigan State Bureau of Elections, that building at 10 a.m. And what's even great is at noon, right there, there's going to be Louder with Crowder. You know, if you guys don't know who he is, make sure you look him up. But he's holding an event at 12 p.m., and he is demanding Governor Whitmer to release all the nursing home death toll. He's there. He's very proactive, okay? So make sure, I mean, there's two birds with one stone right there. Stand Up Michigan's going to be there. Louder with Crowder's going to be there at noon. What a phenomenal morning. What a phenomenal way to start your weekend. So make sure that you come on down, right? Just like the Price is Right. Come on down, right? And come enjoy because of all of your hard work. All of this frustration is led up to this moment. We're not going to quit, folks. Like I've always told you from the very beginning, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. We're going to get this repeal through. We will. We are going to continue to fight for you. We're not going anywhere. Stand Up Michigan's not going anywhere. We're going to continue to evolve this conversation so we, the people, will always have a platform. And the wonderful thing about this, because all of us are at fault at this. Well, most of us, I don't know all of you, but I know I am one of those people who fell asleep on the watch. We truly did. And this platform allows all of us to never fall asleep on the watch again, to always have a platform to voice our frustration, to hold these elected officials accountable. Because like I told you from the beginning, it's okay to question me. It's okay to question your elected officials. It's okay to question your healthcare professionals. It's okay. You have that right. Because I think and I feel as Michiganders, and not only Michiganders, but all Americans, we are entitled to that information. We are entitled to question things. And we are entitled to make sure that we hold our elected officials who represent who, we the people, are held accountable. Because we said this from the beginning, the solutions can only come from who? We the people, not the government. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. And we have been experiencing a tremendous amount of tyranny, especially in the state of Michigan. I hate more than anything when I hear from other people from other states say they feel sorry for us. I hate that. I don't feel sorry for us. Get fired up. Get angry. Make sure that this never happens in your state. Learn from our mistakes. So don't feel sorry for Michigan. We're doing just fine. We're a tough bunch of people, and we're going to come out better than what we were before because we are going to learn from our mistakes. And so if you are states out there that are celebrating your freedoms right now, that don't have mandates, celebrate that. But I'm putting it on you to never, ever fall asleep on your watch like we did. Okay? That's what I want to point out to America right now is make sure that what's happened in the state of Michigan does not replicate in your state. So you must stand up and you must motivate and inspire fellow Americans to stand up, to hold your elected officials. And for all of my patriots out there, if you have any desire in that heart, in that soul, that you need to run for some type of office, I don't care if it's a flipping crossing guard, okay, school board, city council, senator, congressman, I don't care, governor, president of these United States, run. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. If you run and don't win, and you want to run again, then run again. But if you run and you lose and you're okay with that, at least you tried. At least you tried. I could be very well talking to the future president of these United States. I could be. You could be out there listening right now. You only merely have to muster the courage to claim it and start that process. So if you have that feeling that you're destined for leadership, that you want to lead we the people, then I want you to start running. And if you don't want to run, what I urge all of you to do is don't just vote and forget about that person like I used to, which will never happen again. When you put somebody in office, you make sure that you hold them accountable from here on out so we never have to live through this again, that we will never, ever do the definition of insanity again, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So hang in there, Michigan. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot going on, obviously, over the next several weeks. We have that wonderful debate that all of us have been waiting for at 9 p.m. tonight. So get out some popcorn, get your pops, get your kids around, get your kids to experience this stuff. They should be involved in this stuff too. My kids are staying up. They're going to be doing reports on this, okay? I want them involved from here on out. We have to build better Americans, and it starts with all of our parents out there, all of you grandparents, to start teaching those little ones about this wonderful country, to be proud of this country, to be proud of that flag, and never, ever feel guilty about being an American, because this is the best country in the world. And it will continue to be the best country in the world as long as we, the people, continue to stand up and do what's right, right? The two golden rules: always do what's right and always tell the truth. Until next time, folks, I know Ron's going to come on here tomorrow on his live to update you, and I'm going to try to slide on here again on Thursday on another live to put a call to action to come see all those petitions, to see all of your hard work. Okay, so God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan, and God bless these United States.